What's good, everybody, and welcome back to the Rock and Beards podcast. We are at episode 21.
Woo!
It's your boy HSR, and joining me today is Jay.
I'm always here in spirit and soul.
When
you close your eyes and you imagine something,
he wants to clarify that he had a valid reason to miss last week, and we were dicks. And so I apologize.
Hold on. Sid wasn't a dick.
I was a dick.
Yeah.
So sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, I apologize. Anyway, so why don't you tell us what?
No, why don't you tell me what the album is?
Oh, this is weird. I always ask others. Fuck it. We're talking about In This Moment, and the album is Ritual. And
tell me about the cover, man.
It looks like this eerie little vacant horror movie scene.
I said that before.
And to be honest, before we even talk about that, I've never heard of this band before last week.
Actually, I heard it because of Sid a couple of days ago.
Exactly.
And he showed us like a video, and the chick was really gorgeous.
Sid went ahead and had to have a birthday on the same day that we were recording this. So happy birthday, Sid. But unfortunately, he is not with us due to understandable partying reasons that happen with birthdays.
If everyone's get to be a dick, it's my turn. Sid, miss you, bud.
Yeah, that's what's up. It's not the same, especially with your album. Anyway. This is, so I had no idea. All I know is that the band had an attractive female singer with a bunch of dudes around her, which is a good in the genre of music. And that they were metal. I knew that because they're on Roadrunner, which doesn't necessarily mean metal, but kind of,
I don't even know what Roadrunner is.
Roadrunner Records. The people, I think Stone Sour's on them. I think Nickelback's on. We've been covering a bunch of their shit, apparently. So if I'm wrong, please don't crucify me in the YouTube comments.
I'll do it. It's fun.
I'm acknowledging I didn't look up a lot because I'd never heard of them. And I was just interested in hearing the sounds of the music then and going in a little blind. I like doing that with new experiences. So for me, fucking no idea going into this. What about you?
I basically am the same as you. Sid showed us the video. The girl was cute. There was nothing much this week. And we were like, let's try her out. Let's see how it is.
To be fair, Nine Inch Nails put out an EP.
But we don't review EPs because if that was the case, we would have been doing Coldplay.
Yeah, and so there were a couple of things that came up. But in terms of full albums, it wasn't the widest spectrum.
But even though I don't
choices.
consider this a really fully long album, it's actually good.
It's 49 minutes.
That's exactly it.
That's a full album. No, it's based on an actual thing. I think it's 35 minutes is the difference between or somewhere around there is the difference between an EP and a full album.
Sure.
It's based off of record sizes and shit. I digress. It's
according to his calculations,
album.
Right?
And it's 12 songs, and most of them are full. Fuck off, dude. So it's called Ritual. I don't know what you thought of the name.
I didn't care. Like as soon as I saw the album cover, and I'm like, I understood. They're trying to go for like that not gothic, that horror, scariest type of thing.
Kind of like what should we call it? The one with the
Conjuring. It looked like The Conjuring in the beginning with the chick all floating in the thing. That's something, or The Exorcist.
That's what I was going for. I couldn't remember a fucking name.
But then I heard a couple of the songs and saw the names, and it's kind of like she's trying to be like a. In one of the videos, also we'll talk about later. Like I was looking at stuff. And I was looking at how she dresses and everything. She kind of looks like witchy. So she. I
have a couple of ideas on the album.
Oh, that's cool. It wasn't one of the worst things, but it just looked like they copied and pasted some like Google image. I think, it didn't really, unless it's her in the picture and I didn't notice it.
I don't know. I didn't really inspect it with too much detail, but I do have to say that when I started listening to the album, I was kind of like blankly looking at it, and it does help put your head into a place for what you're about to hear.
That's true.
And so I respect the fact that they use the album cover as an extension of the artwork. Of the actual album, and as opposed to just like something like Incubus's 8, which was just the fucking number 8 and was shit. And I really don't like that album cover or title. The album's fine, but the cover and title sucked. Whereas this, Ritual, it makes me think, I'm supposed to be in this weird place. This
Am I getting sacrificed
horror.
for this album?
Yeah, so I'm okay with that. I actually enjoyed it.
So what you give the album cover? Want to rate it?
I can't rate it. I'd say a 3. I don't fucking know.
I'm kidding.
I'm not the best with visual
So what's the first song, my friend? Because I'm going to need some salvation.
I love this shit. So I had no idea what to expect. I had no idea what their sound was. And I like these little intro tone setting songs. And that's what this was. It was more or less an instrumental. I did comment on the Genius page that there were some lyrics at the end, and it was very lazy annotating for that fucking person to just say instrumental. I digress. it was just very calm. Like, in fact, the first 5-6 seconds of the song is virtually silence, and you really are like, wait, did I hit play? But then it just comes in eerie, and for the next minute or so, it's just like this slow ambient build up, and then it starts to add in some sounds and shit, and then it turns into some Matrixy music, like The Matrix, the movie, and then it like fucking builds up, and then it just it ends, and then you hear her talking, and it's this kind of like quiet, subdued, almost broken voice, quoting some religious things about the grace of God almost saving her, creating like, I don't know if it was a Bible verse or not, but it sounded almost like cliche shit about salvation. And I was like, okay, that brought me somewhere. That took me from I was just chilling in my morning drinking coffee to I'm in the place this album wants me to be in to go listen to the next song. So as a little introduction, ambient construction piece describing the mood of the album, I think it was great. I really enjoyed it.
What's your grade?
I gave it a 4 on 5. I think compared to some of the shittier intros I've heard in my life, this one's pretty good.
So to all the artists who actually don't pay attention to us, and if you finally do listen to us eventually, here is just something I want you guys to do for me. Can you please fuck off with all the instrumentals in the beginning?
It's so good.
I really can't stand this anymore. I'll give you one thing. It was eerie in the beginning. Whoop-de-fucking-do. I'm just fed up. I don't care about this. It's too, like, get me hyped. I'm fed up of getting, like, it's the first song. I'm doing this review, and I wanted to shoot myself in both knees. There's no point. At one point, we were just sitting down listening to it for 2 seconds again. And I'm like, is that a fucking elephant? No, it's a siren. I'm like, yeah. If it was an elephant, I'd be more happy because that'd be like fucking cool.
It was cool. It was like the siren that gets played during like police raids and lockdowns and shit, creating like...
lock me down by not listening to this.
Yeah, but it fits. Honestly, like I said, I think there's a general motif to this album, and it kind of fits to create the start of the story.
No.
I had great visuals. I was picturing like rickety cabins and chairs and this poor...
You have a great imagination.
Yeah, I do.
You that, and I appreciate that. But for me,
and
this
maybe
was
some of
horrible.
them have a great imagination
Good
too.
for all of yours. If you hate my review and you don't like it, fine. I don't care. Just dislike me. This is my taste. My taste is not this.
We're not trying to be that mean to you, Jay.
I'm just telling the truth. I'm telling you, I honestly didn't like it because it could have been. You know what? If I want to listen to an instrumental to like a movie, which we were talking about, and he feels like this is a movie setup type of thing for this album feel, I'm like, give me an instrumental for a movie.
This was.
Like I was like, no.
This felt like a score.
It felt like. Fuck! I hated it. It was horrible. It wasn't even good. It wasn't even good instrumentals. It was just a bunch of noise.
What'd you give it?
What did I give it? I don't want to give it anything, but I'm going to give it a mark. I gave it a 1.
All right. I don't agree with your assessment of
Oh,
this.
Lord, I'm fed up with that.
Listen.
Oh, Lord. Oh, lordy, lordy, Lord. If you get that reference, you're awesome. So coming off the really bad song to this, it was pleasant because we got some words. So
just to like add in there, if you listen to the little vocal part at the end of the intro, it actually completely links to this song.
Sure.
Like the very first seconds of this song are the last thing she's saying from this last part. Just
could have said that on your part. This is my turn.
I'm just prefacing.
The preface is something else.
It's a conversation, Jay.
It's not a conversation. This is my dictatorship. Call me Castro. Okay, so wow. So coming off of it, this is supposed to be the single. It is the single. It has a music video.
It does have a music
video. And
video.
the music video,
it's just cute.
It's whatever.
It's interesting.
She to me, she's the heavy metal version of Lady Gaga.
It was a lot of symbolism.
Yeah. Okay, so before the music video and actually to the date of the album, a lot of people were talking about this because they were doing this one song a lot during the shows they were performing. So this was like a teaser for their upcoming album. A lot of people liked it because it's a different sound from her previous work. How do I know that? Because I did a little bit of research for this guy. And in the United States, a lot of the radio stations will play this song too because it is a softer version of their genre of music, so it's very radio friendly, and it's not one of those songs people are going to get angry about. It was okay. I'm going to guess the meaning of this. I'm probably wrong, but I felt like this was a plea of forgiveness for past wrongs. And she's like, and also a fair warning for the future, saying she's probably going to make the same mistakes. So it's like, please forgive me for my sin, but most likely I will fuck up again. I liked it. I enjoyed it. It's not my taste of music at this moment because I'm all up and around this place. It was fun though. I actually, the only thing I could say is I got fed up of hearing "Oh Lord," because
No,
it got a little irritating at points.
It was practically the whole song was "Oh Lord," and then another line. Even the chorus kind of tied into it. It was very repetitive.
It's a radio song,
but it was different than most radio songs.
I can see this being played on show now.
Like it starts
in
off
Canada,
like kind of country-ish and shit.
I don't see the country as right, but I could agree with it.
It might not be the right word, but it starts off with this tone. And then she's whatever.
It's more acoustic.
Because there's a lot of pain, right? And you can almost feel like.
Well, that's where her range is. Like you can hear a bit of a range in this song, and like you can feel like
it progresses. So as it like goes further along into the song, more gets added to it. So as more instruments, more strength comes put into the song, her voice elevates and has more power, passion, and like it breaks at parts.
She wants you to know what's going on.
And like I actually agree with your assessment of the song. I think it's pretty much that she's on this quest for redemption. Like she's identified what's happening, and she's looking for salvation, as we found out at the end of the last song, I guess, or the intro with its title being Salvation. And then so here she is, and she's kind of found it in something. And I guess I don't know that it's supposed to be about like a specific religion or an idea or something. But I think she's manifesting the theme of this album using religion as a metaphor for something bigger. Like she found something and it's humbled her, and she recognizes she's going to do some, like you said, it was pretty spot on.
For once.
Yeah.
Because lyric-wise, I'm not the strongest person to justify the lyrics, but this one's easy.
But I agree with you. This song
I appreciate
was
it.
but even about the sound of it, it was really like, it's like it's not safe per se because it's definitely bold for them.
It's a perfect radio song,
but it doesn't sound like it was written to be a radio song to me.
Yeah, it sounds
to me, it sounds like they were trying to just do something completely different, and this one just happened to luck out as a perfectly radio sounding song. But I think she was trying to express some pain or whatever, and it just came out like that,
But the only thing I can get, like, I'm gonna knock her for is like add more like. You're a songwriter, or if you wrote this, I just felt like you took an easy, safe approach with a song, and it could have had so much more depth and intelligence. I feel like she took the easy way out. It's not always wrong. Like, there's some songs out right now being played in like the hip hop game that are the easiest and dumbest songs, and I love them. And I'll admit to being stupid for that. But it wasn't a bad song. I gave it a 3.
I gave it a 4.5 on 5. I think you're right. She could have done a little bit more to diversify, let's say, the chorus from the verses, or to change it up a bit.
Well, the whole song sounded like a chorus.
I would disagree with the idea of the range or the depth, because I don't think this song was meant to be driven by the words. I think she was using her voice as an instrument to add to the overall feel of the song. And if you look at how she consistently grows with the song, it really fits. It's really,
when you're using your voice. If I could understand if she was singing on like she was just making sounds and it sounded beautifully and you could hear the pain, then I would agree with you. But when you're using lyrics, your lyrics should have more to say. That's an opinion.
But I think that they had a lot to say, because this I used to go to church when I was younger, and so God and the whole religion thing. And if you think about those hymns, they are a lot like this, really repetitive, really the same kind of lines, and in some cases the only things that change are the last 2-3 words of the next lines between each other. Like, and so I kind of feel like she was playing off of this religious symbolism a bit, and it was almost, I don't know, I thought it was really interesting. Like, I could listen to this in the morning, as Chris Chrome would say, it's the only time he cares about. I could listen to this in the afternoon. This is one of those weird songs where I might not always want to hear it, but I don't think I would ever turn it off if it came on, at least not for the next while.
Okay, I can agree with that. I could see it, but I would skip it. I wouldn't plus it.
That's fair. I mean, it's not like this song's taking us to the Black Wedding or anything. I just want to throw in that they got the Rob Halford guy from Judas Priest. Don't hate me for not knowing Judas Priest that much. And that the girl was so humbled to be able to do this song, this duet with him, and it was really fucking cool. I like this song, actually. I like the feel of it. I like the fact that they bounce off each other so well, and it is a welcome change to hear this kind of almost romantic, jaded duet. But in this genre here, it was cool to me. I haven't heard a lot like it.
May I jump in now?
You can jump in.
So, after you hear that nice stuff, I'm going to make my criticism now. I did not really enjoy the song, but I will give it one compliment. This would probably be a banger live.
Oh, for sure.
This would be a great song live. I'll give him that. But as a song itself, I don't like it because I felt like it was a cheap imitation and a more rockish version to a White Wedding. It doesn't sound too similar, but at points you do feel like you're listening to Billy Idol at sometimes, which could be a compliment. Could be a compliment. It could be negative or not. It's a safe song again.
I'll agree with that.
It's a very safe song. This would probably be another radio song in my opinion.
I feel like this fits the album though.
Oh, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with what I'm saying.
It's well constructed.
But you know what I have to say? This album, after reading some certain things, it's not like their previous work to a point because they said they wanted to completely try new things. I feel like we're getting a watered down version of them on this album so far. There is some times where they show us like some freaking power, but we haven't seen it yet. Hopefully in the future to come we'll see some more power. The lyrics were easy again. The Black Wedding, that chorus, Black Wedding. It was fun.
It's kind of like this dude comes in and he's some new guy and he's saving her from the last guy and he's fucking great and he's almost like the representation of the salvation he was looking for. And bringing in that male vocalist, it really personified it. And it kind of gave her the whole way through. You're kind of
she sounds good. I'll give her that.
A little bit into the psychology into her head of like how she's feeling, how she feels repressed and broken, how she is fucked up and she is like uncertain of how to navigate these waters and she just wants to be okay again, you know. And like you're getting this sense of it as it goes along, and there is a continuity between these songs.
It's too safe. Sometimes I want more risk.
But you're right. That's why I only gave this a 4. Because this song's chorus is really what killed it for me. It was so everything it was supposed to be with no surprises or whatever. It was so meant for the live show, and you're right. It's a completely safe track, but I really like it still.
You know, I wish artists, before they would release an album, maybe, release an EP to see what your fans think of it. Because I don't know how I felt. At this point, I'm gonna disagree with you with that idea. Okay. I don't think you should make music for your fans so much, right? Because there's a lot of stay to yourself, but you gotta see what I was just at the Just for Laughs here in Montreal, and there was a comedian last night, Godfrey, fucking amazing show, and he brought up a good point: stay in your lane. And you know what? If you want to change lane, there's nothing wrong with that too, right? Just stay in that lane. But it's
here's
you're taking risks.
I was always influenced by the mentality of, let's say, 1990s hip hop. Keep it real. If this is what's real to you today, make that album. Yeah, don't let the haters hate.
If you can't swim, you don't jump in a lake.
But I think they swam, man. So far, I'm giving this fucking solid marks. This is not bad at all, dude.
I'm just saying, for the genre of music that I was thinking we were going to get into, I'm not too ecstatic. I gave it a 3 though because the song was like, I'm not judging this one song for the whole album. There is just the third song, so I gave it a 3. You gave it a 4.
Yeah,
that's nice. And
so yeah, Jay is not pleased with the next one. Let's talk about In the Air Tonight.
Thank you.
So, this is not the first time we've encountered this In the Air Tonight melody on this channel. And like I said the last time, I can't help but hear this track or the idea of this song without picturing Tupac. Because for me, I first encountered all of it with Tupac staring at the world through my rear view, which to me is excellent. The remix has Phil Collins on it in the chorus. It is truly divine, and I don't think I've listened to Phil Collins' version ever because I like the Tupac one so much.
You don't know what you're missing.
That's totally fine. So I don't know the original so well, but what I do know is what makes a good cover. And like, we just listened to I think 12 cover songs last week that Jay bounced out on. He was like, "Fuck that shit. I got excuses."
I had a root canal to be done.
Fine. And then so we reviewed it, and one of the things about covers, in my opinion, is the band's ability to take the original piece of work and recreate it in a way that's them
and own
while
it,
still paying homage to the original piece of work.
Sometimes you just have to own it. Sometimes it's...
And in this case, not only is it the band's style, and at least the style they're selling on this album.
Okay.
Lyrically, this song, as I understand it, is about some dude who could have saved somebody but didn't, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you really consider so far what we just had in this Black Wedding, it's kind of taking the story and moving it along. They got together, and he could have helped her but didn't, right? And so it's starting to take the point and showing the toxicity of the relationship she's now entered into, using this amazingly placed Phil Collins cover, done in a way that is completely built for this album. Now, taking on something like Phil Collins is a challenge because it's not easy to redo.
Because he's a musical genius.
And so the fact that they were able to redo it in a way that is that cool, to me, is a fucking perfect cover. As a song, it's hard to judge the writing. It's Phil Collins. Of course it's fucking brilliant. As a cover, it's fucking brilliant because this is one of the better covers. It's better than everything on Pop Goes Punk 7.
That's not hard.
Right. But some of the other Pop Goes Punks
It's like you like chocolate. Songs. Yeah. Well, here's not chocolate.
No. Some of the Pop Goes series has some great covers.
Sure.
This is a great fucking cover. I give this, because it's a cover, 5 on 5, and not really judging it as In the Air Tonight because, well, it's a silly way to look at a cover to me. All right, Jay, take your shit.
There you can go. First off, spoiler, I really love Phil Collins. I jam to him at least twice a day. Every day, even more. So, I'm biased. I really am, and I'll admit that now. That being said, in the moment, never, and I mean never, ever, do a fucking cover of Phil Collins. He says they owned it. I'll give you a simple thing. Everybody knows In the Air Tonight. Why? Because of The Hangover recently.
What? I didn't know.
You didn't know that?
No,
well,
Tupac, bro.
That too, but in the most recent thing was in The Hangover.
I just thought everybody knows the song because also Stan. Remember that song by Phil Collins, In the Air Tonight, where the guy could have saved that other guy from drowning but didn't, but then Phil saw him at a show when he found him?
Anyways,
that's basically
That's pretty
it.
Cool. You can do that. Yeah, I'm whoopty fucking deals.
How about back
that.
to my... Eminem popularized the song.
No chance. There's just sometimes... Eminem's popular, but Phil Collins is a fucking musical genius.
Eminem popularized the song for a modern audience.
Fine, I respect that. No, the Hangover did it too. Because that was in the 90s, wasn't it?
No,
or
it was
early
2000s.
2000, what?
Whatever.
Figure that out and get back to me after. Anyways,
2000.
So... Thank you. So, when I heard even when I was like, okay, it's really slow, and like, the song's long, but Phil Collins is just, he does amazing on that song. But we're not talking about Phil Collins, we're talking about In the Moment. And In the Moment... When I heard this song, I wanted to skip. I listened to it 4 fucking times to see if I was being fucking stupid. I hated this.
4 times too, because it was dope.
I hated. I let you speak. Now let me.
Bro, you interrupt too.
I know, but let me have this moment.
All right, you're shitty dump.
Whatever. Even when it got to the drum wasn't even good. Like, I was like, wow, you completely missed your opportunity. Her range, her voice, I hated it at this point. He says they owned it. I didn't agree. I think it was an utter disgrace to do this cover. It was bland. It was boring. She didn't sound good. Even the musicians couldn't say that. And usually I give them the most praise. You can play an instrument. That's amazing. This song was fucking bloody awful. I'm going to give this my own grade. I'm giving it a 0.
I said no.
Yeah, and he said no. He said 1. And that's...
Then we made Bonnie listen to it just to see.
Yeah.
And fucking Bonnie was not polarizing at all. She gave it a 3.5. Right in the middle.
But she had the same expression I did.
She was like, disappointed in the fact that it was covered in a way that wasn't excellent. But she admitted that the song has merit. Anyway, fuck it. Let's just move on past it. Oh, wait, do we give Meg's? Fuck it, 5. I give it a 5 because it was a great cover. What'd you give it?
I gave it a 0.
I know that we said that now, and I'm feeling stupid. I'm going to leave this in so you guys can laugh at me. It's just because I'm a martyr like Joan of Arc.
You feel good there?
Yeah, I do.
Good.
So this shit's upbeat as fuck, right? Like, This is like a fun song. It's powerful. And it continues the story. So we find out in the Air Tonight that her new savior's an asshole. And here, I've read a lot about like narcissistic relationships, and I've been a stupid, shitty asshole boyfriend in the past. So there's certain parts of this I can identify with. And I feel like what she's trying to present here is like she is so into this new person and wants it to be so strong that she'll take on the burden of all of the sins. She'll carry all of the weight. She'll deal with all of his shit per se. I might be wrong about the relationship part of it, but that's how I took it for the whole album. And it was just like she's one of those chicks that's broken and battered and is just trying to like find some salvation and is taking on all of his sins out of this obligation, this sense that she has to do it like Joan of Arc did or whatever. It's a lame actual comparison. I don't really like the comparison, but I like the song and I like the feel of it and I like the chorus and I like everything but the part that she called it Joan of Arc.
So far this album, I have a stigma now towards it.
Oh boy.
I'm not gonna shit on this song too much, so don't worry. Perfect example is you go get some soup. It's lukewarm leftover soup. I feel like this is so watered down to be like, it's such a popish album in a way. I don't feel like there's a soul to this song right now.
What?
I'm just not
I feel
feeling
the soul.
I just sound like it feels like almost every song's like radio. It's not always a bad thing, but it's just like I just want more emotion, more like I just feel like I'm feeling it's like watered down metal.
I don't think
it's like
if you're trying to like I don't look at it like it's a metal album. I look at it like it's girl Nickelback so far.
So that's a good thing?
Yeah, I really like the last Nickelback album. So since I did, and I'm now a believer of Nickelback, if we can call that. I don't know what Nickelback's believers are.
Nickelback believers are not people.
Either way, they're Canada represent.
Anyways, I just had high. The thing is, I felt like I had high expectations because I took a week break and then I came back excited and like refreshed after my root canal. And then I'm like, I wish I could be in my root canal right now. And then,
man, I was just reviewing shitty pop covers. Not all of them were shitty, but some of them were shitty. This is really fucking cool. This is like a really, again, I feel the emotion in this song. I feel
like I'm listening to Milli Vanilli right now.
And I agree now that you're saying it. It is almost like every song so far could be a radio single, but I don't know that it was done on purpose.
No, I don't think it's on purpose.
Other people have done it on purpose, and you can tell. Like,
well, that's one thing I did read. You can tell when
Stone Sour was trying to write the radio single.
No, okay, fine.
Versus here, I feel like they accidentally wrote a radio-friendly album.
Okay, that's perfectly fine. And but that's the thing. After like the thing that saved them was when I was reading on the album about not like every song, but just reading like a general thing and how they felt about this album, and they were experimenting.
Yeah,
I'm not agreeing with the experiment, but
I think this was to me this experiment is really cool so far. This was a 4.5 on 5 to me.
Like
if it wasn't for the cheekiness of the Joan of Arc, and I don't know, it just didn't sit right with me. I get the reference. I get that it's actually apt. It was just so fucking cheesy.
I gave it a 3, but my initial mark was a lot lower, and the reason why I changed it is because I realized something. Maybe it was just the timing I listened to it that really influenced me a lot. So I was fair. So I listened to it like twice. Then I listened to another 2 times, and like my marks do change depending on the time because I work late, and so I listen to a lot of my albums while I'm at work because I don't have much to do there. So when I heard this, I was like, wow, I really could be watching The Office, but I'm listening to this crap. Then I listened to it in the morning when I went to work, when I went back home, and then I listened to it when I woke up, and I was just like, okay, it's not as bad as I thought. And then I'm like, wait, it is as bad as I thought. And then it's not. And that's why I gave it a 3. It didn't make me want to jump in a river of fire, though.
That's the part that made the Joan of Arc cheesy.
River of Fire, I kind of laughed because I was expecting something a little bit more, like, scary. But I felt very upbeat. It was very, it was a fun song. I liked the beat with the drums. I liked how it kept delivering quite simple. Like, it was a simple drum, but it was nice. This had more feeling. This drum had more feeling than In the Air Tonight, the cover. And I appreciated that. And like, I felt like this is probably one of their best songs on the album.
Okay.
You know what this is a perfect song for? Next time you're riding your bike to work, pop this on.
I put it on random, but sure.
But just pop this on, like when you're in the middle, like if you can, because this is a good workout song.
This is when I started to make this connection of story, right? Because you have the idea now is she has in Joan of Arc said, "I will take on your shitstorm," and I feel like this song almost literally follows up with describing the shitstorm using parabolic weather metaphors. And all of this shit that this river of fire is this person she's with manipulating bullshit that she's taking on to try to save this person. and she's trying to figure shit out, etc. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm just playing with this theory because I'm enjoying it. But I really like this song too. I do feel it has a good soul and energy, but I also kind of found it a little bit like
cheesy.
Yeah, out of my league.
It's watered down.
Like
this whole album's watered down.
The parts of the album that are cheesy but fit into what I really love are easier to give like better marks to. I give it a 4. Don't get me wrong. I think it's a strong song. I think it has a lot of value per se, but it was so over the top with its lyrics. Like it's like when you're trying to be ambiguous and cryptic and shit, and instead you come off like
straightforward,
like that person who's using a lot of big words unorganically. Like they just say a bunch of shit to sound smart versus actually just sounding smart by saying a bunch of cool shit, right? And in this case, I feel like they're almost a little pretentious with it, and it bothered me a little bit, but I do love it still as a song on this album.
All right.
I feel like it fits this album, and I give it a 4.
I gave it a 4 also.
All right.
I guess on to the witching hour.
Yeah. Witching Hour has a beat that I love every time I hear it, and it makes me think of a fucking song I can't put my finger on at this moment that I'll kick in a cup. She Wants Revenge. There's a She Wants Revenge song that it fucking just sounds exactly like, and I can't put my finger on it now. But it was just weird because that beat, every time I hear it, I just fucking love the song.
Some of these songs sound very video game-ish too.
And it's very like interesting. It's got a funky kind of off-kilter upbeat. Like it is upbeat, but it's off-kilter. And it's like this song kind of explores almost in a cliche way the idea that she knows shit and people know, like you know that she knows some shit, and that it's almost scary, like she's a witch because she has her faith and she has her beliefs and she's not allowed to be herself as a person, and she gets locked down and she gets shut down and for like believing in shit that may be different than what's popular. So I can picture this again in the relationship sense. She's just trying to be her and he's just shutting her down in her life. Like she wants to go do this. No, you're not allowed. If you want to go to like the 50s, it's like, no, women can't work. It's kind of like I take it like that kind of an idea, but it's really loose and can translate to anything. And it was a cheesy but fun song. I really think this is the best song I've heard on the album thus far. I loved it. I plussed it right away. I thought it was super fucking great. I love her on it. I love the band on it. I don't know if this is what their sound's supposed to be or not, or if this is a weird experiment, but it was mad successful in my mind.
It was okay. It was a slow song. I wasn't overly hyped. I expected a bit more like eerie, maybe a little bit grungy when I was like trying to be a little terrifying.
Right.
It was witching hour, you know. And I even listened to this around 3:00 in the morning, so I was like, oh, this is gonna be in the mood. This is gonna see. Am I gonna be freaked out?
Right.
Then I was freaked out. It was kind of like weirdly upbeat.
But it was, yeah, that's what I mean. Weirdly, that is eerie.
Not really, because
Like,
maybe our definition of eerie is different.
Eerie is kind of like a creepy, strange.
Yeah, it wasn't creepy. Like I felt like I could
It was
even
like
been like
unsettling.
it felt like Miley Cyrus's take on something scary.
Maybe, but I don't know. I liked it. I gave it a
It
5.
wasn't bad. I
It's a
think
fucking
I
5.
gave it a 3. I was just expecting. It's just the expectation so far has just been not what I
came
thought.
into this with like no expectations, and I've been completely delighted because I don't know what their sound is. I don't know what they're trying to do. This to me is a really cool constructed album so far with an interesting core theme. So I'm enthralled by it. I think Witching Hour is one of the songs you should check out for real. And yes, okay, go on.
I give it a 3. It was alright.
Yeah. So then
Twin Flames
is the one that followed. The names are lame though.
So one thing I liked about this song was that it was 2 sets of songs, so that was kind of cool because you had a very soft and then it got a little bit more exciting. So Twin Flames, you get it, like one soft burning fire and then the second one's more intense. So that was kind of cute. I like that. I have a hard time with soft songs. This one wasn't too bad. It wasn't a great song, but it wasn't bad. It had its place. I felt like this was a more calming for what's to come.
Okay.
So I enjoyed it. I didn't like the lyrics were just whatever.
They were kind of cheap.
Yeah. That's a lot of things on the CD that could be fixed. But it was okay. It wasn't the worst song. I gave it a 3.5. I like I said, the experimentation. It's interesting, to say the least.
You know what it is? I like the verses. I think the insecurity and the brokenness that she throws into these verses is one of the more impressive pieces of vocal work she does on this album. And it builds up in this way where, like, it's coming along. And then the chorus kicks in. And it's just so fucking cheesy and boring to me. It's such a disappointment following the verses. Like, it's not bad. Nothing about it's bad. It's not the right word. This is, like, just... How do you have something so great mixed with something so generically boring? Like, she doesn't sound anywhere as intense or enthused. It's mostly effects that seem to boost her up at that point. And I'm like... whatever. This one to me is a 3. It's just an average song mixed with a lot more experimental and cool tracks. Everything else I've heard before was more fun to listen to than this song.
All right. Half God, half devil.
Yep, that's the follow-up to this one.
Oh, this song.
This song's about dichotomies and shit, right? Like
what?
Dichotomies.
What's that mean?
It's like when you're facing a choice and there's two sides to...
Oh, her yin and your yang?
Yeah, like the duplicity of her character. Like on the one hand...
She's a good girl and she's
trying
a
to do
girl.
all this like redemption shit. She's trying to be really good. But on the other hand, yeah, like it's not so much that she's the devil, but she's broken, she's flawed. She's been hurt almost. Like you can feel her pain. Like she's tried to be this way for so long. But, you know, if we think about just the idea of the last song, Two Flames, it kind of felt like that was their relationship imploding and, like, really, like, it's over in her mind. Yeah. And now she's been broken, and inside of her you have, like, the little devil on one shoulder, the angel on the other shoulder.
And they're complimenting each other.
And they're just kind of whispering bullshits into her ear, and she's just struggling, right? And a lot of this album has had struggle attached to it, and it's no different here. But this one is delivered a lot better than the last track. I like how the chorus kind of gets softer and a little more almost high-pitched, and the almost aggressive rage that gets delivered. And, like, you can feel like she's coming into her power. Like, this whole way through, she's been repressed. She's been, like, subdued. She's then here. It's like she finally just unleashes and recognizes that, yeah, she is good, but holy shit, is she evil. And it is a cool fucking track. It is a cool idea to me.
I actually enjoyed the song, and the reason being was... I started to have like an innocent moment, like giggling, because like when I read the title, I was just thinking Devil May Cry.
Okay.
And I'm like, this is, and then I started picturing if they ever made like a real Devil May Cry movie, I could see this in it, being like a theme or something, because you know, half God, half devil.
Okay.
Dante, we have something for you. I enjoyed it. It was good. It was fun. Once again, very lukewarm. Welcome to Lipton Chicken Noodle Soup, boys.
I don't agree with that part. I think this one was a little better than the Lipton chicken soup. This is more like the chicken soup you get at like a chicken place. It's not great, but it's better chicken soup than in a can.
Oh, that's pretty canned. But it was good. It was a transition though. They went from good to like angelic type of side into a very hardcore devilish type of thing. It was fun. I enjoyed it though. I actually gave it a 4 out of 5. I kind of was hoping maybe we had a bit more of this.
Yeah, but I see, for that comment, I have to say, if you consider it like this album has a core theme and it's trying to play out like a movie, and that the music's almost reflecting her personality and spirit, this is the first point in the story where it would make sense to kind of explode like that, and everything else kind of had to be a little more on the subdued side. I'm hoping I'm right that there's some central theme to this album, but if that's the case, I respect the choice to not go hard earlier, but I really do agree with you in the sense that I kind of wish, having heard what they can do, even here, just a little glimpse into it more. Man, some of the other songs maybe for this band aren't as great. Like, I went to a show and they played them, and I was expecting all their older shit. I'd be a bit disappointed. But only discovering the band here, I get the feeling that I don't know what this band actually is, and all I understand is what this album is, which to me is perfectly fine. But I'm curious to now know what their older sound is.
No Me Importa.
Yeah, he just doesn't care, does he? This song was fantastic. Like, I don't care if you didn't like it at all. I'm gonna start this
I liked it because it felt like it had a lot of emotion. Finally,
it did. It was like this is like where in the last song, she's broken and she's discovering that she has this like soul and personality inside of her. Here is where she really takes it to the next level, and for the first time, it's like she just doesn't fucking care, and she says "fucking" in this song. All of a sudden, we broke the F-bomb on this album, and it's really like. It really is this idea, like, I've tolerated your shit in your world for so long. I just don't fucking care anymore. Like, I'm tired of it all. Tired of all the bullshit and whatever. And I really liked it. It comes in with a very different sound. Like, I have to give it credit. There's no blender effect on this album. Every song sounds a little bit different, and this keeps that coming.
There's been a blender effect.
Not for me. Maybe for you. But, like, and I like it. I like even the cheeky, I guess Latin, I think is the language of the name that is there. I'm okay with it. Like, she came in, and for what she's trying to accomplish with this song, I think she did an excellent job. I think the music's great. I love the chorus, and I like the verses, and I like the little breakdown-y shit. I like fucking all of this stuff. Fucking all of this song is good to me. This is a perfect fucking 5. I think this is even better than the last song I said was great.
I liked it actually finally because I finally felt like the singer had talent. I know what I said. The reason being is because she finally hit chords. She finally hit high. She was high. She was low. She was everywhere. I felt like this was something she actually enjoyed singing.
Yes.
I really liked it. I didn't give it a 5 because nothing's perfect to me.
Okay.
But I gave this a high 4.5 because it was interesting. Like she really. She put it all on the line, and finally, as a person who's listening to this album, I recommend this song. If you don't want to go through this whole CD,
agree on this.
Me Importa, just listen to it.
It is even as a single. If I don't know if it'll be.
It'll never be a single
because it's too good.
Oh, they don't have too many fucks in it, so maybe.
Well, it's just the fuck in the chorus. Like she doesn't fucking care or whatever.
Well, then maybe that will be. No, I don't know. You can change
easily
it.
Bleep that.
Yeah, that sucks.
But and these days, who cares?
You'd be surprised.
I honestly think that this is definitely one of the best examples of truly great tracks on this fucking album. I don't know what their old sound sounds like I said before, but I do think that if it's anything like this and they have this kind of coolness to it, I'm fucking excited. This song is great. It's a 5. I'm not repeating myself because I'm just kind of like, I'm thinking about it.
He's giddy.
And it's good. This is one of the nicest experiences I've had on the Rockin' Beards podcast in a while. Like,
oh, thanks.
Well, I mean, in terms of music that we've listened to,
okay,
this album's fucking cool. Like, this is one of the cooler albums for me and my taste.
My favorite so far is just coming here and talking to you, bud.
All right, I like that part too.
Actually, I'm not gonna lie.
See
I come here for Bonnie.
So,
everybody
I guess
knows
that's the roots of the intentions here. I really like the kind of almost electronic sounds they threw into this. I like the fact that again they flipped the script and came at it differently. I like the aggression. Like this song is basically like, thank you for hurting me so I could have my phoenix rise and become a better person. But also saying that at the roots of who I am, it's something dope. And what about you? What's at the roots of who you are? You
just remember a tree. You can rip out a tree, but the roots are very fucking hard to take out.
And I fucking thought it was great. This had power. Like she was mad. She's fucking angry.
Well, that's the whole point. Like, if you, a tree could be damaged and stuff, but at the end of the day, they have the roots. And what can happen with roots? They can regrow into another tree. So you can't pull me out. Just because you destroy the top doesn't mean the bottom is. We've planted the seeds. I am this band. I'm not saying she's saying that, but I'm a part of this. We're in this moment, and this is our roots.
I feel like she's just saying that like the essence of who she is after all of this time is powerful.
She's not letting anyone change her.
The other person has no roots.
That's it.
And but the delivery of this song, it's got crazy drum rhythms. It's not so much of the heavier, slower shit we've encountered. Now we're doing some quicker, tricky shit. It's like everybody on the band just kind of woke up and went ham on this one.
That could also be a bad thing because this is 11 songs in out of a 12 CD.
Again, though, if you consider it like a story, it's the climatic scene at the end. This is the big action scene with the big gunfight at the end of an action movie. This is like the climax. This is
Fate
the
of the
big
Fast
moment.
and the Furious.
It's like where she finally has her like point of realization and she's fucking coming in. So if she's a superhero, she's finally using her powers and fire's flowing around her. She's coming in to like
Wonder Woman.
Wreak havoc on the
fighting Ares right
assholes around her in her life. And it was really remarkable to me.
She's ready to scissor the worlds to the end.
But I do have to admit that hearing the end of this album, I'm kind of like, I know that I really enjoyed the first half of this album, but I really like this a lot more. I really think that the last couple of tracks we've touched here since she's exploded in the story are really fucking like a high energy, great experience I can get behind and like fucking bump on a regular.
See, that could be a good thing. Like, I can understand it if you're like the way you were saying, if it's followed like a movie. But I also felt like maybe some of the positioning of the songs were wrong, and that affected maybe my taste in it. I felt like certain, like if I would have maybe did my own like playlist and listened to it again, and I added like put maybe song 14 here, song 10 here to song 2,
right.
just skip song 1 completely,
and you're like, just kill off the Phil Collins cover.
That's not even a question. That never existed. That never existed. Like, you can lay your gun down. But
hold on.
Before I do that, I'm gonna give my mark.
Yeah, I didn't give mine either. Anyway, so yeah, I gave this shit a 4.5 on 5. It didn't feel as organic as the last one, so it's hard to give this a 5. That last one was fucking truly divine. But this is a great song still, and I would recommend that you listen to both of these tracks, and Roots is something you should go out there. It's a fun song. I could see it even being good at a party. I could see it being good live. I just don't know.
Maybe more live than a party.
Every day.
It also depends on your group of people you're with, too.
Yeah. It's not a barbecue song. I'll give you that.
It's not a cookout. But I agree with you. It's a 4.5.
Awesome. So
lay your gun down.
I guess that's the next move.
Lay your gun down.
So this is the end of the story, and if we consider it like the movie I've been saying, and we just had our giant shootout scene, this is the consequence scene. This is the end of it, right? So it starts off kind of with her firing lots of shots at him or it or whoever she's attacking, and kind of describing that at some point it's like I get the feeling that he kind of like snaps and does something so fucking drastic, so something bad that she kind of wakes up and realizes that, you know, when you get shot back, it fucking hurts. And at the end of the day, realizing that the war or whatever's going on between them, this bullshit isn't working. So in this kind of morose sense of it all, just let's lay our guns down. It's over. It's peace. We can't do this no more. This is just stupid. Which fits. It is a conclusion. Like, I have to say, for me, the placing of this album is one of the most spectacular placings of songs for a thematic approach that I've seen, at least in the rock side of this reviewing. Well, at least this year, I guess. Yeah. And it is a little on the blender side, though. It's kind of hard to get into after the crazy rush we've been on. It's got a very slow, very repetitive, calm start, and then it builds up, but not in like the explosion kind of way, just more
calming. It's like riding your horse in the sunset.
Yeah, and like it's almost anticlimactic for what it is, but I appreciated it because it was well composed, it was well written, it was a good way to end the album, in my opinion, to kind of take you back to that initial vibe. So it does kind of follow the beginning sounds a little bit and fits it well with that, so it creates like a full circle experience. I give it a 4. I thought it was an acceptable way for this album to end.
I didn't enjoy it. Simple as that. It was boring. It was very blonde, like Gordon Ramsay would say.
Okay.
Like, put you in a pan and just burnt you.
It was not enough fire.
No, there was fire in there, so it was just on so high that it was just died. It didn't ever exist. There was supposed to be a T-bone steak, and we just left off with maybe chars. Okay. I don't know how. I don't know. I'm just like I said, it's probably just the song placement for me. It was bland though. Like, even when it got to like, you know, you got to your epic, like you think you're gonna have like maybe a higher thing going on or something. It just ended up being still soft. So it was very anticlimactic. I'll give you that.
I've noticed a lot of rock albums end with these kind of blandish, like, it makes me think of almost the Gorillaz as a circle of friends, or these other like very almost calm, cheesy songs to end off these more elaborate albums.
Yeah. I could live without this song.
Okay.
I gave it a 2.
Oh, that's not nice. I give it a 4.
All right.
I thought it was well constructed.
How'd you feel about this album?
Well, before we do that, apparently they did a cover of Creep, and in light of how fucking much I liked the cover of In the Air Tonight, I wanted to listen to it so we could talk about it, but I couldn't find it, so to let you know it's out there, and if any of you have listened to it and liked it or not, let us know. That would be dope. But as for this album, it get a 4.29. 4.29, wow. I actually think this is one of my favorite rock albums I've heard this year. It's better than Nickelback's technically better, but I like this more than I like the Nickelback. It's better than most of the albums I've reviewed in the last like 2 months for this show at least.
The Imagine Dragons CD, I found
it wasn't
way better.
for me.
That's okay. I know we're agreeing, we're disagreeing to agree.
So like for me, that's it. This is cool. This is my cup of tea. And if you guys know more bands like this, I personally would like to find more music like that.
Just tag HSR. Me, I gave it a 2.9.2.
Okay.
I'm just being stupid. A 2.9. Reason being is I gave some low marks and some high marks, and after doing my calculations, which was in my head, I felt like it was a 2.9. Okay. I didn't justify giving it 3 as a possible mark because I felt like these songs in the CD was a little bit of a letdown. But there were points that were good, and there were points that were very bad. You know what? Try it. You can try it. It doesn't mean you're going to love it.
Let's say you're afraid of listening to a metal band. You have nothing to fear. Because I think it's very comparable to Nickelback's Feed the Machine. Honestly, it really is, but with this chick singing on it instead. And
just don't bring this to church and you'll be fine. Just gonna be like, "Watching out! You must be burnt on the stake, Joan of Arc."
Yeah, something like that. All right. So I guess that's it for
Thank you
this
for listening to us.
If you enjoyed the episode, feel free to like it, to subscribe to the channel, comment below, let us know what you think.
Future projects are coming up, son.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about the Arcade Fire next week if their album's out on time. If not,
Alice Cooper.
Yeah, that's a definite possible album. So, and
but
if you have a preference, let us know. Alice Cooper or the other one I just said, Arcade Fire.
Most likely, we're going to be honest with our listeners. We're going to do the Arcade Fire. Why? Because they're from where? Where are they from?
Montreal, Quebec.
And where?
Montreal, Quebec.
That's it.
That's in Canada for those of you who really don't know where Quebec is.
We dropped the mic.
So that's it. Anyway, take care.
Peace. Love you.